Dopamine versus serotonin. Porn, pleasure, and how to get back to true happiness. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Let me tell you how. In this video, we are going to discuss two main neurochemicals: dopamine for pleasure, serotonin for happiness. We're going to discuss the differences between the two. And then we're going to talk about how pornography creates excessive levels of dopamine that hooks your brain back for more and more seeming pleasure and makes it so that you cannot feel happiness or joy in the real world anymore. And then most importantly, we are going to, number 3, talk about how to get your brain and your life back to true happiness. Okay, so let's dig in. Let's talk first and foremost about what is the difference between dopamine and serotonin. And if you go over to my blog post at Dr. Trish Leigh, drtrishleigh.com, you will see there that there is a chart of the difference between dopamine and serotonin. So here's the difference. Dopamine is the pleasure-seeking neurochemical. So it's the chemical in your brain for instant gratification, but it keeps you going back for more. What it does is it is the chemical of taking, which is why it is involved in pornography consumption, because it is the taking of, even though it's a third party taking, it is a taking of an experience. Serotonin is the sharing of an experience. Serotonin helps you to internalize and feel happy from within. Dopamine is external, and it makes you go externally to want to get gratification. Dopamine is addictive. It's a proven to be addictive chemical in your brain. Serotonin is not. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit more off the charts so that I can tell you exactly extrinsically external rewards that dopamine will make you want to go and seek, and you will never be able to get enough of it. So the external rewards are, if you're taking an exam and you get a good grade, money, earning money, needing praise, needing achievements so that you get accolades from other people, pleasure-seeking activities that are for a massive rush like pornography. So when you get too much of dopamine from these activities, it keeps you coming back for more because you never feel satisfied or you never feel truly happy on the inside. Where on the other hand, we have intrinsic rewards when it comes to serotonin from shared experience, and in and of itself, the experience is enough. So it's internalized. So when you feel autonomy, when you feel like you've done something well for yourself, when you feel inspired, when you feel interested in something, when you feel curious in something about something, when you've mastered something, when you're involved in an activity with other people and being present in that moment, that's serotonin. Dopamine is always getting you back for more and more of those external rewards. Internal rewards, happiness, serotonin. External rewards, seeking gratification and never finding it, dopamine. So we know that your brain gets excessive dopamine and becomes addicted to it in a pornography habit. How are you going to get away from that and get true happiness? This is how you're going to do it. You're going to leave the habit behind. You're going to unwire the brain pattern that keeps you going back for more. As you do that, you're going to decrease the amount of dopamine that is going into your system. Simultaneously, you are going to rewire your brain to be present in your life on purpose, in your work, in your relationships, and in your hobbies. Now, here is the key. You have to be able to be in a life that you love. And I talk to so many people that are not in lives that they love. And life is way too short to be in a life that you do not love. And not that I want anybody breaking up with anybody or anybody quitting jobs. What I do want is I want you to search your soul and think to yourself and feel. This goes back to your thought processes, your emotions, and your attitudes. I want you to think and feel if the relationship you're in is bringing you happiness. Do you like being present in it? Because it might be cloudy for you, honestly, because if you've been going back to the habit for so long, it might be hard for you to see if you like being in that relationship because of all the dopamine. But you can go back to why you got into that relationship in the first place. Same thing with your work. If you're dissatisfied in your work, is it something you really love that when this dopamine release decreases in your brain and you start working on your work more, will you get more serotonin? Is it something that you love? I love my work, so I get a lot of serotonin from being engaged in it. But in the past, I've been in jobs that were like, meh. I went to work because I made money. And yeah, it was okay, but I wasn't deriving the internal happiness from it. Same thing in my relationship. I was in a relationship, I'm sorry to say, if you happen to see this video, that didn't give me that internal gratification. And I was able to muster up the strength to leave that relationship. And I've been with the Hubs for over 20 years now, and we have a relationship that, or at least I'm going to speak for myself, I won't speak for him. I have a relationship with him that I love being in on a daily basis. We crack up all the time, we do weird things all the time, we love to share intimate moments and be close to each other. We can handle all the rough stuff together, so it's not all unicorns and rainbows, but we are in it and we are glad to be doing life together. That is a relationship that produces serotonin. Go get that. Find it in your work, find it in your relationships, and find it in your hobbies. And that is how you're going to offset the need for your brain to go back. That's literally the rewiring in the right direction. And if you do it enough every day, you're going to hardwire your brain so that it starts to sink in and those neural pathways are being created, and they will become the primary neural pathways as the dopamine neural pathways dry up and they no longer are the driving force back to the screen. If you don't feel like you can do any of that, then brain training is probably the thing for you. I have been involved in neuroscience and neuroplasticity and changing the brain using technology and neuroscience for many, many years. And it's the easiest way to rewire your brain without you having to do a thing. And that goes back to, control your brain using neuroscience and technology, or it will control you. And once you get control over it, then you learn how to keep control over it. So hopefully, if you have enough control, go for it. Use these strategies. But if you don't have enough control, I'm here to help you using neurofeedback brain training. Jump on over to drtrishleigh.com. You'll see it's the primary service that I offer to be able to work with people personally. Okay, and please remember, control your brain or it will control you.